one thing I've heard a lot of my friends say that have more hiking experience in the States is we are spoiled in Europe with like the established restaurants along the trail. Like you will go hiking up a trail and there will be a full on restaurant serving you hot food, cold drinks, ice cream. I feel like it makes it less daunting to think about, oh, I'm going to go out hiking all day. I know there's going to be a restaurant up there, so I just make sure to have some cash on me. I can get everybody an ice cream and we can sit down, take a break, have some spaghetti, whatever. Like that part is really, really nice.
Welcome. This is Lauren Stites, and you are listening to Her Side of the Trail. Hello, and welcome to Season 2 of Her Side of the Trail. Whether you're a new listener or you're coming here from Season 1, I really appreciate your support. It means everything. Now, let's talk about this episode. I am speaking with Lindsey Bybee. She is an American citizen who currently lives in Turkey, but she has lived in other countries in Europe, including Georgia, Ukraine, and Germany. I wanted to talk to her about the differences and similarities between hiking here in the States versus overseas. And some of them are pretty distinct and some things I wish we could bring over here to the States. There's a few things over in Europe I would love to have here in the States. But we'll get into that. Lindsey has been getting out on the trail with her 3 kids, but also, doing like some girlfriend trips. So you'll hear all about that on this episode. And so if you're planning a trip overseas or you're just curious in general what it's like to hike in Europe, this is the episode for you. So let's get into it. Hello, Lindsey. Thank you for joining me today to talk about hiking abroad because you are the abroad wife. So I'm so excited to talk to you about hiking overseas.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
You are the abroad wife on
Yes.
Instagram. So to me,
Yes.
that means you've lived in many different countries. Even since I've been following you, you've lived in a couple different countries.
Yeah.
How many countries have you lived in and where do you live now?
So I think we're at 5 countries now, including the United States. We've lived in Germany, Georgia, Ukraine, and then Germany a second time, but now we live in Turkey.
A lot of differences between those countries,
Yeah,
right?
for sure. Yeah.
I have you on here because you're a hiker. You're out with the kids hiking. Is that something that you did growing up as a child?
Yeah, so actually my family did like to hike. When I was a kid, they did take us out hiking, and I remember not enjoying it. That's kind of like my childhood association with hiking. I wasn't super into it, but we did it. And then I had a long break before I kind of got back into hiking. I was actually telling my husband today, like if somebody had told me 5 years ago I was going to be interviewed for a hiking podcast, I would have like laughed in their face because it wasn't really something I got into until we moved to Garmisch, Germany. And for people who don't know, that's like in the German Alps. You're right at the base of mountains. So once we moved there, that's kind of what got me connected with hiking again. And now I really enjoy it.
Almost like a requirement living there that you go hiking,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, if you don't, you'll be kind of bored because everything that there is to do there revolves around being outside, hiking, and being in the outdoors.
I love places like that. It's like almost like my in-laws, they live in Colorado. They went out there and they're like, "Okay, we're hikers now."
Yeah, yeah. I was worried that I wouldn't enjoy Garmisch very much. People told me that I would love it, but at the time, I didn't feel outdoorsy enough to like really enjoy it. But once I got there and just kind of got going and got into it, I mean, I fell in love. So,
I think there's this like persona that people feel like they have to have to be like an outdoorsy person.
yeah.
And meanwhile, I'm like, no, just strap on some shoes and go outside. You're an outdoorsy
Yes.
person.
Yes, I agree with that. It kinda has it feels a little bit intimidating at
Mhm.
first, like, "Oh, I'm not as hardcore as all these people," but you really don't have to be. It's just about, like, being outside and enjoying
Yeah,
yourself.
definitely, definitely. Well, I'm glad you figured that out when you were living there
Thanks.
because now you've
Me
been doing
too.
all these crazy hikes and with the kids. So you have been hiking with the kids. Now, how many children
Yeah.
do you have?
We have 3 children,
Okay.
and they're now 12, 10, and 6, and,
Okay.
when we first moved to Garmisch, which is when we really got into hiking, they were 2, 6, and 8.
Okay. Okay. So you got them out on the trails right away.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really have another option. I mean, we didn't live near family, so it wasn't like we could call, somebody to watch the kids for us while we went out. So it was like well, if we wanna do it, we have to get them to do it too, so we drug them around with us.
Did you have the little one in, like, a carrier, or did they handle the
No,
trails on their own?
we never got a carrier. That's just one thing that we always kind of by the time we thought like, "Oh, should we get one of those?" We were kinda on the edge of, like, needing it. He was already 2.5 and happy to walk a bit, so we're like, "Do we really wanna invest in one of these, backpacks?" And so we were like, "Nah, we don't need that." So he walked, a lot of the ways, and we would do, easy stuff, and then if we did something that got a little bit too long for him, my husband would throw him up on his shoulders, and that's how we managed.
That's a good way to do it, though. I know my son at 2.5 would not sit in a carrier, or there's no way.
Yeah, it's kinda dependent, right? Like,
Yeah.
if your kid likes it, great, but if they're too antsy or wanna be out and free, sometimes that's better.
I'm like, my daughter, who is 12 now, I think would still be in a carrier if we could put her
Yeah,
in
probably mine too.
there. She'd be like, "Wait, wait, get me on your back. Let's do this."
Yeah, my daughter is definitely our most reluctant hiker, so she would probably take that option too.
That kind of drives me to the next question, though, like, so challenges, like, we all have challenges getting the kids out hiking. Have you
Yeah.
faced any, like,
Oh, yeah.
certain challenges with
I
that? Or
mean, probably what most parents face, they don't wanna go, it's boring, they rather play with their friends or whatever. I mean, yeah, they've told us all those things and, they're not always like, "Woohoo, we get to go hiking today."
yeah.
A lot of times it takes a lot more coaxing or, motivation, as I like to say, slash bribery.
Yeah, I was gonna say
But
food, snacks, right?
gummy bears work really well. But yeah, I mean, we just kind of, we try not to let that stop us in our tracks because we know it's good for them, it's good for us. Once you get out there, most of the time they are fine.
I always feel like I get the resistance before
Mhm.
we leave,
Mhm.
and then once we're out on the trail, then
Yeah.
they kinda start to relax, and then
Yeah.
and
They
then they
mellow
enjoy it.
into it and get
Yeah.
going. Yeah.
Especially when they can see all the fun things along the way, all the different
Yeah,
animals and plants and views and stuff, and rocks,
for
if
sure.
we can climb
Yeah,
rocks,
rocks and sticks.
we're good to go.
Somehow still very entertaining. Yeah.
So have you hiked in every country that you've lived in then? Or you said you
Well,
grew up hiking in the US a little
yeah.
bit against your will.
So, yeah, against my will, just like my kids, it comes full circle.
Yes.
Um, in Ukraine, we really didn't do any hiking. We lived in the capital city, and my kids were like, I just had two, but they were little at that time, and it
Gotcha.
was kind of like survival. So we weren't really doing hiking then. My husband and I did like a few hikes in Georgia. Um, and then, of course, when we lived in Germany, we traveled around, the Alps and did a lot of hiking in different countries around there. And we're trying to find some things here in Turkey too.
Have you noticed any big differences between hiking overseas versus hiking in the US? Like, I always feel like we're very, because we're a very litigious society,
Yes.
so we have a
Mhm.
lot of like safety things in place.
Yeah.
But I just wasn't sure if you noticed a difference, or is it pretty similar no matter what?
To be honest, my hiking experience in the States is pretty limited. What I'll say about hiking in places like Germany, Austria, Switzerland, um, the trails are extremely well maintained. There's
Okay.
signs, everywhere saying, this point, how long it's going to probably take you to walk, 1 hour,
Oh,
2 hours.
that's nice. Yeah.
There's gondolas everywhere. So a lot of
Even
times you
better.
can, yeah, either hike up and gondola down
Yeah.
or the opposite, take the gondola up and then start hiking from there. One thing I've heard a lot of my friends say that have more hiking experience in the States is definitely we are spoiled in Europe with like the established restaurants along the trail. Like you will go hiking up a trail and there will be a full on restaurant serving you hot food, cold drinks, ice cream.
That
There's
is
oftentimes
incredible.
playgrounds. It's so nice because I feel like it makes it less daunting to think about, "Oh, I'm gonna go out hiking all day and I have to pack snacks for 5 people to last us that
Make
whole
sure you have
time,"
enough
when I know.
water.
Right,
Yeah.
it's like, well, I know there's gonna be a restaurant up there, so I just make sure to have some cash on me. I can get everybody an ice cream, and we can sit down, take a break, have some spaghetti, whatever. Like, that part is really, really nice.
That is so incredible. I think I think it's in New Hampshire, but I believe there is like a on one of the trails in New Hampshire, there's like a soup hut. Like you can go up
Oh,
and you can
yeah.
get some hot soup, which I'm like, that's a dream. Thank you.
Yeah, so from what I can gather, that's not as much a thing in the States, I don't really remember seeing that.
I
It
think
should be a
that
thing,
it's a
right?
missed
It sounds
business
right.
opportunity here in the
For
States
real.
for sure.
Yeah, people would make a lot of money. People are definitely willing to give you money for hot food and cold drinks at the end of a
Yeah,
hike.
I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah, that needs to be something that we need to establish here. So that's a really big difference though. Now, do you this is gonna be a difficult question, I feel like, because everyone has favorites. As you've been hiking, in these various countries, do you have like any favorite trails that if someone was going like to that specific area, like, oh, you have to do this?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have a few favorites. It is hard to pick favorites, but in nearby Garmisch, there's a town just over the border in Austria called Erwald, and Erwald has a couple of our like most favorite hikes. There's one that's great for families that we did several times with the kids, and it's a waterfall hike, but along the
Ooh.
trail are different like activities that the kids have to do to find numbers at each
That's
station.
fun. I
And
love
it
that.
makes like a special code, and when you get the code, you can take it to the tourist office and they'll give the kids a little pin. So it's
That's
very
cool.
fun to have like little activities or games to do along the way. That's also helps the hiking motivation for the kids. So that was one of our favorites for sure. And then also one of my favorites at the top of that mountain near that waterfall hike is a hike where you go to two lakes, the Sabensee, and then you can go up a little bit farther to another lake called the Drakensee, and it's just, I mean, beautiful, pristine alpine lakes. It's just stunning. So, those are definitely a couple of my favorites. There's a few gorge hikes in Garmisch. The Hohentalklam is amazing, especially if you can go like in the spring after when the snow is kind of melting, because then the river's really rushing through there. It's very impressive. One of our favorite hikes we did in Switzerland was from Mannlichen to the Kleine Scheidegg. Hopefully, I'm saying
Okay.
that close. But sometimes people know Mannlichen for this playground because it has a huge
Okay.
cow slide. But there's an amazing playground there for the kids, and then you hike along this trail to another train spot, and the views up there are stunning, and the cows with the bells, like it's just it's like that postcard
Uh,
experience of the Alps.
Nothing screams Alps like walking along the hills and
Yeah.
seeing cows.
And that's
I love
very
that.
common. It's funny, like that is really like a thing. And my kids know I love the cows. I love the cowbells. Like I love seeing them out there.
I spoke with two women who live in England, and we were just talking about dangerous animals when you're on the
Mm.
trail, and they were saying like the most dangerous animals on the trail for them were the cows, like
Yeah,
because they
it's
could
true.
stampede at you.
They can. I mean, it is a real thing. I think I heard stories, once a year of a hiker getting trampled by a cow. But a lot of times it's because there's, like, a dog involved, like an
Gotcha.
off-leash dog who then
Mm,
spooks the cow. So that's not a good idea to have your dog off the leash, nearby the cows. But
yeah.
for the most part, I think it's pretty safe. But yeah, I mean, they're a huge animal, so you have to be a
Yeah,
little
yeah, you gotta
careful.
watch them. I thought
Yeah.
that was, like, kinda funny, though. I was like, "Yeah, we have, like, bears and mountain lions,
No.
but you got your cows.
There's
Okay."
none of that, just cows. Maybe a wayward goat.
Everyone has, like, a this hike went wrong story, and I know
Uh,
you shared at least one on your social media, but I wasn't sure if you had
I
any, like,
remember.
fun, like, that went
Oh.
very wrong hiking
The
stories.
the only one I can think of, and I have shared it on social media, so I'm wondering if it's the same one. It's this hike that we did with our friends in Georgia. We did it with no kids, and um, we were like walking up like the side of a river, and the river was kind of high, and we were like, we don't want to walk through there and get our feet all wet and our socks all wet. Like, let's go off the trail a little bit this way, and then we'll just like connect back with the path like another way. Well, that didn't work very well, and we ended up getting ourselves kind of like cornered into this spot where we had to traverse a log that was like over the river, but it was, like, too high and too scary to just, like, walk across it, so we all were, like, sitting down on the log and, like, scooting our butts across to try and forge our way across the river. So that was, like, the one that sticks out in my head. I don't know if that's the same one that you're thinking of.
I saw that the
Yeah.
video of you guys, like, straddling the log and trying to, like, maneuver
Yes.
yourself across. I was cracking up. I was like, "She needs to
Yeah.
tell this story," because,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
we've all been there. We've all like, "Oh, wait, I don't wanna go this way.
Yeah, it was
Let
like it
me."
seemed like a good idea at the time, like,
Yeah,
surely we don't, and we ended up
yeah,
getting wet anyway because further
of
down we had
course.
to cross the water, so it was a fool's errand, that one, but very funny and very glad we had our phones ready for each other.
Yeah, and at least it wasn't, anything that, like, put you in, like, imminent danger or
No, no,
anything,
no,
so
thankfully, I haven't had anything crazy like that, there was one other hike with my husband in Switzerland a long time ago when we just had our daughter. She was like 3 months old. And we took the cable car up, I think it was Mount Pilatus, and then we decided to hike down, but we didn't like really know where we were going. And I think we got off the trail that we intended to be on. And so, I'm thinking like, okay, it's getting late. This is taking longer than it was supposed to. We don't exactly know where we are. We're going to be like those dumb Americans who like got stranded on the mountain with a baby. Like it wasn't that bad. We made it down and just had to like, luckily things are so well connected there that we made it down to the wrong place, not where we parked. But oh, we just hop on the train to take us to the parking lot where we did park. So it turned out okay, but I was very frustrated
yeah.
in that hike down. Like, why did we do this?
And also, like, more scary because you have a young child with you.
Yeah.
I
It's
always feel
like,
like that, like, amplifies it. If it's just you, you're like, okay, like, I'll
right.
make it through," but you're like, "Hold on, I have a child with me, I wanna make
Yeah.
sure they survive."
Yeah, yeah. Not our finest moment, but we made it.
We all have those moments, though. We do. We definitely have them. Do you have, like, any
Yeah.
bucket list trails right now going on that you have, like, "Oh, I wanna go here this weekend," or "Take a trip here," or because
Well,
you can get around Europe, Eastern Europe pretty easily,
yeah,
correct?
I mean, Europe is very well connected, very easy to get around. Here, we're a bit more remote, and
Okay,
I live in Ankara, and so we can get around Turkey very easily. But getting out of Turkey, a lot of times we have to fly through Istanbul, and
gotcha.
it's not quite as easy.
Okay.
Cappadocia has some really nice hiking here, and we've done a little bit of that. But I was thinking like it would be fun to do something totally different, like some tropical hiking in
Oh,
Hawaii
yeah.
or like to a volcano or something like that, because that's really different than what we've been doing. But there's a few via ferratas that I would like
Oh,
to do in
yes.
Europe. There's one in Murin, which is kind of in the same area as the Manlicken hike I was talking about earlier, but it looks really cool. And there's a lot of via ferrata trails in the Dolomites, and you
Okay,
can do like
yes.
hut to hut. So where
Mhm.
it's like multi-day and you stay the night. I think that would be really fun.
Now is that something you think you could do with the kids, or would that be, like, an adults only kind of trip?
Yes, I think you could do it with the kids. I don't know if my youngest one is there yet. I just don't know if he has like the stamina for that. They've all tried Via Ferrata. So I also work for a nonprofit, and we have camps in the summer for Ukrainian military families who've been like affected by the war. So we bring them out to the Austrian Alps and we do like a week of healing through a combination of mountain climbing and like psychoeducational
That's a
modules
nice
and like
program.
it's amazing. It's amazing. And this summer my family actually got to come with me and participate. So there's Via Ferrata routes that we do on that. And so they've all been able to try it and they did well with it. My little one got a little scared on this one that we did because it's very dramatic. There's a Via Ferrata across the face of a dam, and it's not like hard physically, but it looks very
Like, mentally, it's,
intimidating.
like, a little, like,
Yes,
intimidating,
yes.
yeah.
So I think my kids need to do just like a bit more practice before they
Gotcha.
did something like that, but I totally think they could do it.
Yeah, we have, in West Virginia, there's a Via Ferrata there,
I've
and
seen that. Yeah.
I, like, have my eye on it, and I was actually very close to it over the Memorial Day weekend, and I thought I could maybe bring the kids, but they have an age minimum of 13 and my daughter was 12.
Mhm.
So I was like, well,
Yeah.
maybe next summer. And I'm like looking at videos of it, and my husband's like, you think she's gonna do that? I'm like, I don't know, maybe. I'm like, she's more
But those
capable than we think.
That's very true, and, like, the same thing I was saying about the hiking, like, when I lived in Garmisch, I was too afraid to try Via Ferrata. I was scared of
Uh-huh.
heights. My friend tried to get me to go, and I'm like, "Sarah, you don't know me very well then, because I'm terrified, I'm never gonna do that." But then I started working with this foundation, Mountain Seed Foundation, and it's kinda like, "Well, I guess we're gonna do this now," and, like, I
Like, I
never
kind of have
thought that
to.
I would, but
Yeah.
once you, like, just kind of do it and try, like, you surprise yourself with what you
Not
can
that
do.
it's the same, but we have, the ropes courses and stuff, through the trees and everything,
Yeah,
and you're still connected, right?
yeah,
And so it's the same thing, like, you're so, like, intimidated by it, and then you're
yeah,
like, "Wait, I could, like, literally just hang here. Nothing's gonna
yes.
happen to
Yeah,
me."
you'll be okay. I just did one of these with my kids back in Garmisch. We just went for a visit, and so there's a ropes course like that there,
Mhm.
and I had never done it before because, like I said, I was too scared when I lived
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, it's intimidating.
But I took the kids by myself and we were having fun, but then it came to this one part where you literally just had to jump off a platform and I was
Yes.
like, "Oh, I don't wanna do it. I don't wanna do it." My kids were, like, coaching me, "You can do it, mom. Just jump, just jump." So they counted
It's
me
just
down
like,
and finally
again,
I
it's
did it.
that mental, right?
It
Because,
is.
like, you're safe, like, deep like, they're
Yes.
not gonna make you do anything that's gonna hurt you.
Right.
But
No.
it's just that mental, like, "Can I mentally
It's
force myself off this platform?"
yes, it's the mental block. It's the mental challenges that are the hardest.
Yeah. Well, the Via Ferrata sounds fun, though, especially the
Yeah.
hut to hut. I think I would
Yeah.
I would enjoy that, and I could easily convince my son to do it, but my daughter, I think, would need convincing for that.
Yeah. It's
So,
definitely something I think you need to, like, work up to, like, you wouldn't wanna embark on that without, like,
any kind of
having some
training.
yeah, yeah, some experience first to make sure you're ready for it.
I do appreciate your time. I know you're busy with the kids and everything and the time difference. I know it's almost like dinner time for you. So I'm going to, wrap up with this question. But if you could only do one kind of hike for the rest of your life, would you do a hike that leads to a view, like an overlook hike, or would you do hikes that
Okay.
lead to waterfalls?
Mm. I would probably pick a view. I think
View.
I would
Okay.
pick yeah, yeah. That's
Well,
hard
it's
though.
because you have restaurants up there.
Yeah, I would take the view where I can sit on the patio with my Aperol spritz. That's the one I'm going for.
I mean, I'd do a view too if I was like, well, I'm gonna climb up there, get the view, get your Aperol
Yeah.
spritz, and then take the gondola back down. I'd be good
That's
to
right.
go. I don't blame you for that, though. I don't blame you for that. Again, thank you. And before I let you go, because you are on
Yeah.
social media, and do you have a website?
Do. It's the same name, abroadwife.com.
Abroadwife.com for your website, and then you are a broadwife on Instagram. Well, Lindsey, again, thank you so much for your time talking to me
Oh,
about
thanks,
hiking
Lauren.
in Europe and all your adventures. Also, your photos are so incredible too. Like, I
Oh,
love
thank
all
you.
the scenery that you post on Instagram. When your posts come up, I'm like, well, where is she now? Like, what is she
Oh,
doing?
thank
So,
you. Thank you. I
so
appreciate that.
please keep posting for people like me so I can live vicariously through you.
Okay. I'll go
All right.
edit some photos right now.
Yeah, no. But thank you again, and yeah, and have fun adventuring. And if you do that via Ferrata, I'm gonna be very jealous.
Thanks, Lauren. Good to talk to you.
Thank you for listening to Her Side of the Trail. There are more hiker stories to hear, so please follow along to hear them as soon as they come out. And if you like this episode, please share it with your friends or on social media. Her Side of the Trail is hosted and produced by me, Lauren Stites. I can't wait to share another hiker story with you next episode.